If your message is strong, but your presence doesn't match it, this is your wake-up call. Hi, I'm Stephanie Rose, founder of West Rose Media, and this is Icons, the podcast where we build brands that look expensive, lead movements, and actually make you money. If you're ready to stop blending in and start being seen as the leader that you really are, hit subscribe and let's make you unforgettable. Now, let's go to the show.
Hey, welcome back. We are doing a joint podcast today with the Wildly Wealthy Woman podcast and
The Icons podcast by West Rose Media.
we have an exciting announcement that we have been working diligently on, so make sure you stay to the end.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about how to make all your dreams come true and make more money doing it.
I can't wait.
Being hot and rich?
I can't wait. Let's go.
Let's go.
In your words, did we create the manifesting and marketing master?
Well, I think that we saw a huge gap in the market. There was a lot of strategy and there was a lot of really woo-woo stuff. Both are great. Too many people were sitting full-time in one camp instead of doing both. And that was the biggest problem is we saw people who were burnt out on strategy, who went all in on the spiritual stuff, but then they didn't have the balance. And then we saw people who were way too spiritual that they had no structure in their business. And we needed both. And we needed people to be able to feel like when they were making their marketing and their content, that it was actually like them and they weren't like pretending to be a bro marketer, because that's so icky. And I think a lot of times women look at advice that like boys give out and it's not made for them. It's not made for their business and they feel uncomfortable doing it. And then they think, well, I'm not good at making content. Well, no, you're just doing it the wrong way. And we're going to teach you how to do it the right way.
I 100% agree. And I would say that in my words, like we created what we wish existed.
Yeah.
You and I both are really good manifestors. We could tell stories all day long, which we will. You know, that's part of the body of work that I teach is how to manifest from a very somatic, subconscious, scientific perspective. And I love teaching that. But I also know when people come to me and they want to build a movement and they ask like, how did you do it? That's just one piece of it. And I think a lot of women are missing the really practical, tactical side to building a movement that you and I bring together.
I agree. And since we started working together, the thing that I've noticed in the last like 6 months is a lot of things that I had thought up and tried like 2 or 3 years ago that didn't work now are effortlessly working.
Ooh, like what?
Like events, like these content weekends we're doing, certain clients I wanted to work with, certain level of clients, like the packages I wished people would book with me. But back then they just like, I felt like pulling teeth trying to get it. And now it just effortlessly happens. And people are like, of course, that's what you do. But I think it's because we've been not only teaching it, but we've both been embodying both of these things and learning from each other. And both of our businesses have grown exponentially since we started this.
100%. And I feel like that opens up the question to manifesting. Like, how did you create this? I'm curious your answer to that, because if you said a few years ago, like, this is on my vision board and now I'm living it.
I think what happened is that I was finally able to take the strategy and the manifesting together.
Yeah.
Because I was sure it was going to happen, but I didn't have the tools to implement it. I didn't have like the structure in my business. I didn't have the backup. I didn't know how to actually pull it off. So anytime I got like to a certain level, I would panic and like kind of pull back because I was like, okay, but I don't have the system to run this. And now I do. So like the manifestations, it's like they happen faster. And also I can trust myself more.
Yeah. And hearing you say that makes me think of the internal strategy.
Yeah.
You know, I think when you and I started tapping together, it unlocked an internal strategy that you were like, wait a second. No, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, yes, create the vision boards and set the intentions, but there's an internal strategy that tapping is a very practical tool that teaches you how to get there, and specifically the parts of self-work. And I always say, like, when you set a goal like that, there's a part of you that 100% is all in. I know I can do it. And then there's this little part of you that's like, I don't know if I want to take on more right now.
Right?
Can I really take on more? Is this safe? What if people, talk? What if people judge? What if all the what ifs? And we all have them, but what do you do with them? And that's where like tapping is actually a very tactical thing. You tap on it.
It is. Yeah. And it's like so instant. I feel like now I used to like send things out or just send out a big proposal to a client or something. And then I would be like dwelling on it and worrying about it and stressing about it. And then it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I send it out. I tap either before or after. And then I'm like, okay, next thing. Like it's just poof gone. And then it comes back and I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. That thing is going to happen. Instead of like going over and over it in my mind, it's like that it can break me out of that and off we go. Then new things can happen.
That's like the best example of release to receive.
Yeah.
Right. And I think our ideal clients are the same. Like they have a lot of hustle. So they're like output, 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 output. But at some point you have to pause and I say release, relax, and receive.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you put out all of that energy and put yourself out there, it's like you got to take an exhale, let your body catch up with everything that you've done, and then it's like all of a sudden, like today I was said to you, one of my first real estate deals just came in.
Yeah.
And it was because I did that, right? I put it out and then I tapped and I relaxed and it was
Just let it go, moving on.
And I received.
Yeah. And I used to always wonder, like, how did people actually do that? And nobody could ever answer that question until I met you. Because people were like, oh, you just got to like let it go. And I'm like, believe it's going to happen. I'm like, but how? And nobody could answer the how until I met you.
That is so cool. You know what? My very first tapping business was called transition tapping. Yeah, because when I first learned tapping, I had a lot of friends that were transitioning in relationships, right? In their 20s.
Yeah, yeah.
And people would just be like, you just got to let them go. And I'd be like, that is the dumbest shit.
But how?
Yeah, like, okay, thanks. Obviously, I know that, but how? And then I was like, well, tapping is the how. And the answer is by honoring the part of you that doesn't want to. There's a part of you that doesn't want to let this go right now, and that's okay. You love and accept that yourself anyway. And it releases that tension of like, oh, I'm behind, or oh, I'm not doing it right, or I messed up. It releases it. Then you get back into, I guess you could call it alignment. You get back into a rest repose state in the nervous system. And then it's like everything just starts to line up.
Yeah. And I think that's what stresses people out about the manifestation community is they're like, it's bypassing reality because it's too optimistic. And that's what I like about tapping is like, you talk about what's actually happening first, and then you go to what you wish for.
Yeah. And it's funny because I get a lot of people telling me, well, tapping's kind of negative. Like, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to tap in the bad stuff. But I always say it's like going to the dentist and having a cavity and being like, could you just not focus on that? And it's like, yeah, that's not going to help you. And so tapping, like you said, it's super quick. It's like, okay, yeah, today is not a great day, or today I'm having a lot of doubts, or I just had to spend a lot of money on this and I'm freaking out. Let yourself freak out, process it, and then you get back into your power.
And then off you go. You get to do it again.
Yeah. That's why this is the best
teamwork.
Man, this is the best mastermind on the internet to me because, yeah, there's nowhere else that I know you can get the best of both worlds plus in-person content retreats, you guys. Like, I cannot tell you how badly I wanted this. That's why I created it. And no one does it like Stephanie. Every single person that was at our retreat told us this was the best retreat they'd ever been to because of the level of detail that went in above and beyond, like that board and every single scene scripted out. And that was just like, there was a whole section where I would go with people and they would get bonus. Like everything you guys saw with Stephanie plus more. I'm so proud of it.
Do you know what Erin told me afterwards? That one sneak peek picture that I posted of her sitting on the counter. She said she got 40 DMs from people being like, oh my God, you've never looked so powerful and amazing. And like, I'm so excited for what you're building. From one picture.
Holy shit.
40 DMs. I was like, let's go. My work here is done. I did it.
Well,
isn't that awesome?
And that's the difference, right? Like if people are like, well, I'm just going to go hire a local photographer. Can you speak to that? Like, no offense to your local photographers.
No, I'm sure they're fine for your family photos, but you need somebody who understands marketing because we're not just taking pictures for funsies. We're taking pictures because we have to have a vibe. We have to know how people want to feel. The same feeling in your marketing has to reflect how people want to feel when they work with you.
Yes.
And so that's why like some people have a really like bold look and some people have softer. Like we have to know who your ideal client is, who you want to work with, what you're after. And that's how we shape and build the content. And then every single thing that we capture has to do with giving them that feeling. Because that's when people are excited to buy and then they buy frequently. Is when they're buying, they have the same feeling as when they work with you. There's so many people coming to me and they're like, I'm so good in person. Like I can sell really good. But as soon as I get on camera, I'm like so awkward. It's because we need that same feeling of the in person on camera. And you have to do that intentionally. And your local photographer just doesn't have those skills.
Yeah, it's a totally different skill set. And I would say a vast percentage of it happens before you even get in front of the camera. So.
Yeah, we worked for months ahead of time on making sure every single thing was ready so that we knew exactly who they were talking to instead of being like Erin, for example, she came and she was like, I talked to moms. And we got way more specific than that because it can't be just that general.
Yeah.
We have to be way more specific. And then we can make really specific content, the kind that you're like, oh my God, is she like reading my mind? How does she know that about me? But you don't get that level of, you can't be that specific if you don't have the research behind it. And nobody likes to do like research on their competitors or who they want to work with, but you have to. And once we do it, then we have that information and we can use it.
This is the magic of the manifesting and marketing mastermind, because you are getting that prep work that most photographers just, they're not offering. It's, maybe they have the skill, but they're not offering it in the way that you do. And then it's also the post retreat, because that was my experience going to content retreats. They were super fun, but afterwards I was like, now what do I do? And so can you talk to them a little bit about that? Like what happens after the retreat when they first of all get presented with like the best pictures they've ever seen of themselves in their life?
Yeah, so we did that on the call yesterday, actually, is we talked about, okay, what are your first steps that we're doing? We talked through, these are the exact content pieces we're going to be putting out. And because we knew, like we pre-planned all this content beforehand, they have the scripts, they have the captions already written. It's just pairing, okay, this is the picture we planned for this. We're putting it with this. It's ready to go. The carousels are ready to go. She's like, I have 3 weeks worth of content that I prepped because we had the plan. Now she has the content and it's just being scheduled now. And it's so much easier, especially for people who are like, I'm running my business. Like I'm so in it that I don't have time to post every single day. And that's where like we can make all of this content that speaks like the core message of your brand, have it pre-scheduled, and it looks really great because we were in multiple scenes, right? So it looks like we were multiple places. All of that goes out on a schedule. You don't even have to look at it. And all you have to do is show up in your stories and talk about the fun things. And that's when you don't get burnt out on content.
Yeah.
Because if you're the face of your brand, yeah, you're going to have to still be showing up, but you can't be burning yourself out on like the core things people need to hear over and over again. Because that's when people are like, it's so boring making content and saying the same thing over and over again. You shouldn't be saying that every day. That content needs to be going out, whether you are happy or sad, or your kid's in the hospital, or you're feeling shitty, or you had a fight with your husband, or you had the best day ever and you want to, it's suddenly 17 degrees and you want to go outside.
Or it's your birthday week.
Or it's your birthday.
Like, I don't even know what's happening. I don't want to be online. Yeah.
Exactly. So your business, that's how you get actual time freedom. People are like, oh, time freedom. I'm sitting by the beach, but they're still on their phone.
Yeah.
Like this should be happening so you have real time freedom and you can actually do all these things and like live your life and your content is still selling for you.
Yeah. That brings me to some of the other conversation when it comes to the manifesting work and kind of the role that I play in the mastermind is what goes on behind the scenes. So whenever you declare that you're going to go after something, a bigger goal, it's normal that you're going to have resistance come up. And I always say resistance is a roadmap. Resistance from a tapping perspective holds the key to your next level. So what I do is if you're like, yeah, I want to speak on the stage. I want to launch this book. I want to start a podcast. And of course you're excited at the beginning, right? It's like, yeah, I see the vision. Let's go, let's go. And then all of a sudden, it's 2 weeks down the road, something happens to a family member that starts taking your time. Or someone says something at a family dinner that just hooks into you and you're like, ooh, it's silently blocking me from taking the next step. This is where the tapping comes in. And this is where I see a big gap in the marketplace is that people are pushing and pushing and creating. But if you don't honor that little part of you that's like, ooh, that thing that my uncle said, or ooh, that thing that's going on with this family member, or maybe you have shame. Maybe there's debt that you have and you have shame and you're like, oh, I'm investing in this and I know it's going to work, but I still have this whatever one credit card that I need to clear. Like that's the stuff that we're tapping on behind the scenes that nobody talks about, but it's so common. And I really want to normalize it. You know, in my world with tapping, it's like to normalize the uncomfortable stuff that we go through, but not have to stay in it. And I just, when you were saying that, like the real life stuff that happens with content, it's also the real life stuff that happens behind the scenes. That's where your manifesting speeds up because you're not in avoidance. You're not in anxiety. You're actively clearing every week with me when you're either tapping with me one-on-one or in a group. You don't even know that things are blocking you. And I think and that's an interesting thing that everyone has said, like, I just came in feeling tired today or just procrastinating. I didn't know why. And 10 minutes of tapping, I can get right to the root, and you're like blown away. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's why.
Wait a minute. Is this still about this?
That's why I'm not making the money I wanted to make. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manifesting Marketing Mastermind is officially open. Spots are limited.
I'm so happy that we got to announce the Manifesting and Marketing Mastermind. It is a whole new, brand new mastermind that is going to really shape how you go through this next year and how much you can actually achieve. Because I think we put these huge things on our vision boards, and then it's like really hard to actually complete all of these things. And that's how you do it with a team, with people who can help you actually get past the things that are going to stop you and continue on. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm excited for all the interest. I'm excited for all of the people who saw the footage from our last retreat and were like, how do I get there? Well, you get there by getting in our DMs and joining the mastermind, because that's how we do it, is we build from the ground up from wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Because we did have people who were starting brand new, like didn't even have a website yet. And we had people who'd been in business for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's really important that whenever you're in a growth stage, you get help.
Yeah.
And you get that backing, right? We talked about that in the interview as well. As soon as you're in a growth phase, you have to really like lock in and do more. And that's how we do that.
And without burning out, with the tapping, like, mark my words, this will change the industry. There is nothing in the industry like this. The marketing and the manifesting together, I've never seen it done all in one. Till now, we've created what we wish existed, and we invite you to join us, because mark my words, the women in this space, already the women that have joined our last mastermind, they are the icons, in your words, of this next generation. Truly,
it's true.
They are the change makers. They are the thought leaders, world-changing women.
So if you are interested, make sure you contact us, because we keep the group nice and tight and small, because we give everybody a lot of individual attention. So give us a DM and follow us. And please share this episode with a friend, especially if they have a business, because everyone needs to hear this wisdom. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode hit home, take a second to follow the show and share it with someone who's ready to lead louder. And if you are done playing small, come find me on Instagram at Westeros Media, because your vision deserves to stay alive without you having to chase it. See you next time.